Hello, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Christine Kihas. I am the Contract Monitoring Specialist for the PREA office within the Wisconsin Department of Corrections.
And my name is Emily Stenhoff. I specialize in PREA compliance and education.
Hopefully you are reviewing this presentation because you have a contract to house DOC inmates, youth, or offenders. As a contracted partner, we hope this conversation provides you a brief overview of your contract language and your responsibilities as they relate to PREA. Please note this material is intended to reach a diverse audience: those housing DOC inmates in a county jail, those housing DOC offenders in a community confinement facility, and those housing DOC youth in a youth facility. Because your facility may conform to a different set of PREA standards, the language within the contracts may vary. The material and language in this presentation serves as a guide. Please review your contract for exact language and expectations. Please direct any questions that may arise to your DOC contract administrator or regional PPA program and policy analyst. Not only are we trying to reach a diverse audience, but we recognize that you serve a diverse population. To capture these types of people you serve, whether inmate, offender, resident, client, or youth, we will use the word offender going forward. We will also use the word contractor to describe your site, whether you are best described as an agency, facility, or program. We appreciate your time and attention, so let's begin.
First, all contractors who contract with the Wisconsin Department of Corrections for the confinement of offenders must comply with the Prison Rape Elimination Act. These standards are imposed and mandated for the Federal Prison Rape Elimination Act, or PREA, of 2003. While our collaborative contract discusses or highlights certain standards, the contractor is responsible for knowing and implementing all of the PREA standards. The contractor must take all feasible and necessary steps to work towards full compliance and continue to do so until full compliance is achieved. As many of us know, the work isn't complete once compliance is achieved. Our attention must turn to maintenance, that is, maintaining compliance. We are here for you as a resource and will work with our contracted partners towards this goal. You are welcome and encouraged to review the complimentary recording titled PREA, Introduction and Supplementary Resource for Contracted Partners for a greater discussion of the PREA standards. You may also find the PREA Resource Center incredibly valuable on your journey towards obtaining and maintaining compliance. Of course, the Wisconsin DOC PREA office is happy to problem solve and identify solutions alongside you.
Wisconsin DOC contractors shall integrate the following hiring and promotional practices. The contractor shall not assign anyone who may have contact with offenders who has been involved in any of the following: has engaged in sexual abuse in a confinement facility, has been convicted of engaging or attempting to engage in non-consensual sexual activity in the community, or has been civilly or administratively been adjudicated to have engaged in any of these activities. In addition, the contractor shall consider incidents of sexual harassment when determining whether to assign anyone to any job that has contact with offenders.
Next, for the PREA standards, the contractor shall have policies and procedures in place for responding to sexual abuse and sexual harassment allegations as defined by PREA. The contractor shall further have procedures or policies for maintaining reports and records necessary for reporting data consistent with PREA. We will discuss reporting responsibilities in just a bit. All PREA-related communication to Wisconsin DOC shall be sent to your contract administrator or regional PPA and the PREA office via DOC PREA data at wisconsin.gov.
The contractor shall provide training for its staff, contractors, interns, volunteers, and any others who may have contact with offenders pursuant to its policies, procedures, and PREA standards. Whether you use training curriculums published on the PREA Resource Center website, use material or lessons from third-party vendors, or develop your own content, please implement a process to record and track new employee and ongoing training participation.
In accordance with the PREA standards, all covered contracted facilities must be audited by a U.S. DOJ auditor once every 3 years, beginning in August 2013. This requirement is part of the expectation to adopt and comply with the PREA standards discussed earlier. It is the contractor's responsibility to schedule and bear the cost of these audits. All interim and final PREA audit reports shall be forwarded to the PREA office via the PREA mailbox.
During the years in which the contractor is not audited by a U.S. DOJ PREA auditor, Wisconsin DOC is required to conduct PREA-related compliance monitoring to ensure the contractor is working towards adopting or maintaining compliance. Compliance monitoring consists of a self-assessment worksheet, compliance visits, discussions, and documentation reviews. The PREA office will be in touch with your leadership at your facility to schedule compliance monitoring visits. Again, compliance monitoring is only required during the years in which the contractor is not formally audited by a U.S. DOJ auditor. Contractors will not be subject to an on-site compliance review during audit years.
Next, data collection and reporting. On an annual basis, the Bureau of Justice Statistics requires covered confinement facilities to complete the survey of sexual victimization. The survey has two parts. The first collects incident-based data. The second part collects comprehensive data. Within 30 days of completing and returning the survey to BJS, the contractor shall forward the incident and aggregate forms to the PREA office via the PREA mailbox. Wisconsin DOC, like your facility, is required to post this information to our public website.
Following an incident of alleged sexual abuse or sexual harassment involving a DOC offender, the contractor shall notify Wisconsin DOC within 24 hours. The contracted facility needs to conduct an investigation in regards to any alleged sexual abuse or sexual harassment. Notification, though, shall be sent to the DOC PREA office via the PREA mailbox for our records. It is also helpful to copy your regional PPA or DOC contract administrator in all notifications. Wisconsin DOC may follow up with questions, request additional documentation, and/or inspect response-related records or investigations that your contracted facility investigates. Contractors shall update DOC every other week on the progress of all pending sexual abuse and sexual harassment investigations involving a DOC offender.
Although reporting alleged incidents of sexual abuse and sexual harassment involving a DOC offender to DOC within 24 hours is required of all contractors, the following reporting steps are generally only found in community and youth contracts for greater clarity. Again, please review your agency or facility contract for exact language. The following steps are also posted to Wisconsin DOC's public website within the PREA section. The steps are titled Contracted Facility Response and Reporting Procedure. Following an allegation of sexual abuse or sexual harassment, the contractor shall complete the DOC 2784 form and submit it via email to the PREA mailbox. A copy shall go to the regional PPA or contract administrator. The DOC 2784 may be found on Wisconsin DOC's public website near the posting of this recorded presentation. The DOC 2784 asks for basic information related to the report of sexual abuse or sexual harassment. It also includes response-related reminders to ensure that all proper response steps have been taken.
Next, if the alleged suspect is a staff member of the contractor, DOC may direct the contractor to remove that person from any position that it has offender contact within DOC-funded operations pending any investigation. The staff member may not return to any position that has offender contact within DOC-funded operations until DOC has reviewed investigation materials and authorized the return to work.
If the alleged suspect or perpetrator is a DOC offender, DOC may remove the suspect from the contracted facility and place into custody pending investigation or other action.
All contractors shall notify local law enforcement of the alleged sexual abuse or sexual harassment if it involves potentially criminal behavior. Even if the alleged suspect leaves the facility by transfer, resignation, or termination, the contractor must notify law enforcement if the conduct was potentially criminal. Please keep in mind that all staff on offender sexual contact is sexual abuse. It is always against the law, even if the contact appears consensual. All staff on offender sexual abuse allegations must be reported to law enforcement. Contracted facilities may need to work with law enforcement, educate them on the PREA standards, and help them understand that staff on offender sexual contact, even if it appears consensual, is sexual abuse. We've learned that sometimes law enforcement jurisdictions don't fully recognize that this conduct is against the law. This relationship building and information sharing may motivate local law enforcement to conduct a professional and thorough investigation. At the very least, the contractor shall document all law enforcement referrals.
Naturally, the contractor shall comply with any applicable mandatory child abuse or vulnerable adult reporting laws. This includes making appropriate notifications to Child or Adult Protective Services and/or law enforcement when the conduct involves a minor or vulnerable adult.
Contractors who confine or house DOC youth, the contractor is also required to notify the alleged victim's parents or legal guardians. Of course, please do not notify a parent or guardian if the facility has official documentation showing that this party should not be notified. In lieu of a parent or guardian, if the youth is under the guardianship of a child welfare system, the report shall be made to the alleged victim's caseworker. Similarly, if the juvenile court retains jurisdiction over the alleged victim, the contractor shall notify the youth's attorney within 14 days of receiving the allegation.
Per the PREA standards, the contractor is responsible for conducting an administrative investigation for all sexual abuse and sexual harassment allegations, even if the alleged suspect or victim is no longer employed or housed at that facility. Failing to move forward within an administrative investigation after a staff member resigns, for instance, is unacceptable. DOC recognizes that the quality of the investigation may change without critical statements from a victim, suspect, or witness. However, an investigation must proceed. Contractor shall update DOC every other week on the progress of all pending investigations.
Following an administrative investigation, the contractor shall notify Wisconsin Department of Corrections of the outcome of the allegations and investigations. To do so, the contractor shall complete the DOC 2785, which may be found on DOC's public website. Once complete, please submit the form and the investigation materials to the PREA office via docprea.data@wisconsin.gov. Please CC the regional PPA or contractor administrator.
Finally, as discussed, all forms and processes mentioned may be obtained or reviewed on Wisconsin DOC's public website within the Prison Rape Elimination Act page. Please utilize the DOC's public website to find the forms you need.
This brings us to the conclusion of our conversation. We recommend you visit any of or all of these resources above to learn more about sexual assault or sexual abuse in the community or confinement or the Prison Rape Elimination Act. The PREA Resource Center especially has a plethora of resources, best practices, frequently asked questions, tools, tips, and tricks to move your facility towards greater compliance. The Wisconsin Department of Corrections PREA office may also be a resource to you. If you have further questions about the standards or PREA-related contract compliance, please contact the PREA office via the PREA mailbox. You are encouraged to reach out at any time. We are happy to work alongside you to find solutions. As we discussed earlier, the PREA office will be in touch to schedule and conduct compliance monitoring. We look forward to partnering with you, learning from you, and developing best practices together. Thank you for participating in this conversation. We very much appreciate your attention and commitment towards eliminating sexual abuse and sexual harassment in our facilities. We hope this overview of your contractual responsibilities helps strengthen our collaborative relationship, but also moves you towards greater PREA compliance and creates safer facilities. Again, thank you.